The Quiet Protocol by Storyteller. They called me Shepherd. It was a lie, of course. I wasn't guiding sheep. I wasn't leading people to safety or light. I was a weapon, a blunt instrument disguised in a suit and a badge that no one ever saw. I belonged to a directive buried under so many layers of clearance even Congress couldn't touch it. We called it the Quiet Protocol. When someone became too loud, too honest, too brave, too dangerous with the truth, my phone would vibrate, and I'd make it quiet again. 3 targets, 3 ghosts. I came to this church because I don't know how else to stop the voices. I thought maybe if I said their names out loud, if I confessed, I could quiet them for real. Not with bullets, not with poison, with truth. But truth, it's never really what we serve, is it? Let me start with Lana. Her name was Lana Kim, 27, investigative reporter. Loved iced lavender lattes and ran 3 miles every morning through the foggy streets of D.C. She lived in a cluttered apartment above a Lebanese bakery, and every Friday she'd bring them cookies from the newsroom. The kind of woman who gave the barista a Christmas card and meant it. She had uncovered an illegal surveillance program, something massive, something that made even hardened agents squirm. Cell phones acting as microphones, webcams turning on in the dead of night. They were listening to children sleep, watching people change. She had names, documents, footage. For 16 days I followed her, learned her rhythms, her diet, her cat's name, Bowie. I even knew which side of the bed she slept on and which mug she used when she was nervous. Her press conference was scheduled for the following Thursday. She practiced her statement every night in her kitchen, whispering it to sticky notes taped to her fridge.
The people have a right to know.
It would have been heroic. Instead, I introduced myself as a representative from a nonprofit, offered her a latte at the mixer, lavender, no sugar, almond milk. She smiled, said thank you, like I was someone. I was someone, her last someone. She collapsed on live television, a seizure that looked spontaneous. Medical reports said a brain aneurysm. No one ever questioned the coffee. That's how good we were. But I see her every night now. Not on a stage, on the floor. Eyes wide, twitching, foam at her lips. Her fingers stretched toward the camera, mouth moving, but no sound. Like she's still trying to tell the truth. Still trying to say my name. The second was Dennis Vale, former Navy, 48. He lived in a worn-out house near Norfolk with peeling siding and a dog named Scout. Drove a beat-up Bronco with duct tape on the back bumper and a faded American flag decal on the window. He ate at the same diner every morning. Black coffee, eggs, no toast. I sat 3 booths behind him every day for 2 weeks. Listened as he made idle conversation with the waitress about fish, storms, and old country music. He rarely spoke more than a few words to anyone else. But he was speaking in other ways. He'd copied and saved drone footage from his time embedded overseas. Footage that showed what our kill reports never mentioned. Not insurgents, not militants. Kids, families, whole villages. Mistakes. That's what Command called them. He called them crimes. He was leaving flash drives in journalist mailboxes, leaking, dripping poison into the system, they said. My orders were simple. He always took the same turn on Sunday evenings. Mile marker 17. The guardrail was rusted, the cliff was steep, and the curve was sharp. I cut the brake lines on Saturday night. Watched from the tree line the next day as he made the turn. The Bronco veered, tumbled, ignited. It lit up like a flare against the sea fog. The next day, they wrote it up as a tragic accident. Mechanical failure. No foul play suspected. But in my dreams, Dennis doesn't die in the fire. He crawls out, half his face blackened and peeling, one eye melted shut. and he walks toward me, dragging his leg. In one hand, he holds that charred baseball cap. In the other, a flash drive melted into his palm.
"You watched me burn,"
he says, and I can't wake up fast enough. Then there was the third, the one that broke something in me I've never been able to fix. Dr. Elijah Brandt, 35, history professor at Howard University. A voice like smooth jazz and eyes that made you want to sit up straighter. Black man, husband, father of a baby girl named Zora. He wore tweed jackets and colorful ties and carried his daughter's drawings in his briefcase like they were national treasures. He'd uncovered records, documents tied to old chemical testing programs buried deep in government archives, programs that targeted his own community. Our government. My government. And he was going to speak. I sat in on every lecture for a week, back row, hat pulled low, listened as he connected history to the present in ways that made students lean in. They believed him. I did too. But belief doesn't matter in our line of work. Protocol does. He practiced his speech late into the night. I watched through a long lens from a rooftop 2 blocks over.
"They tried to poison us,"
he said, voice trembling with purpose.
"but now we speak."
He stood on the university stage, packed house, light on his face. I took the shot from the balcony above. 1 bullet, 1 fall. The mic still echoed with his last breath. They called it a tragic act of racial violence, a lone lunatic. No one looked deeper. But every night I see him again, on that stage, still standing, bleeding from the chest but somehow alive. He turns his head, looks right at me in the rafters, and points.
"Coward,"
he whispers. Every time. Do you know what it's like to kill someone who reminds you of your own uncle? To make a child fatherless, just because a file says it's necessary? I told myself it was for the greater good, for peace, for America. But maybe I was just scared of what would happen if they spoke, scared that truth would cost me my life, my job, my family. Now, all I have is this guilt, this chasm in my chest that no lie can fill. That's why I came here. To this church, to this confessional, to this silence. I thought maybe I could earn something like forgiveness. But as I slid open the partition, there was no one there. No priest. Just emptiness. And then I stood, walked into the aisle, and saw them. Men like me, dozens of them. In the pews, in the shadows, guns drawn, laser dots dancing across my chest like fireflies. I raised my hands. No point in running. I finally understand. We were never the shepherds, just wolves culling wolves. And now it's my turn to be silenced. The quiet comes for all of us eventually.
We appreciate you taking the time to experience our stories. Every view, like, comment, and share helps keep this dream alive. At JC Storyteller LLC, we're dedicated to crafting emotional, powerful, and unforgettable narratives that connect with real people. If this story touched you, inspired you, or made you think, please consider subscribing and joining our growing community of story lovers. Your support means the world. Thank you for being part of the journey.